All right, get ready to dive into the world of AR dashboards for SEVs, those smart electric vehicles everyone's talking about.
Definitely. And this research paper you sent me, it's like a roadmap for designing those futuristic dashboards we all dream of. The question is, how do you make them more than just functional? Can they be beautiful? Can they make you feel something?
I like where you're going with this, because who wants a boring dashboard, right?
Exactly. And what's really cool, the researchers behind this paper actually built and tested 18 different AR dashboard designs to figure that out.
18, that's quite a commitment. They must have been really serious about getting this right.
They were. And they even used this fascinating Japanese concept called Kansei engineering to guide their design process.
And say engineering. Okay, you've piqued my curiosity. What's that all about?
Well, think about choosing the perfect music for a movie scene. You want the music to evoke a specific emotion, right? Kansei engineering is kind of like that, but for products. It's all about understanding how design choices make people feel, and then using that knowledge to create products that elicit certain emotions. So in this case, the researchers wanted to see how different AR dashboard designs would make drivers feel.
Interesting. So they weren't just thinking about displaying speed and fuel, they were thinking about the whole driving experience, like how the dashboard could affect your mood or even your driving style.
Exactly. They wanted to create a dashboard that felt good to use, not just one that worked well.
So how did they go about doing that? Did they just ask people, hey, how does this make you feel?
It was a bit more scientific than that. They broke down the design into three key variables: the main color, whether the visuals were 2D or 3D, and the style of the dials, traditional round shapes, or something more unconventional.
I see. So 18 different combinations of those variables.
You got it. And from all those designs and all that data, they were able to pinpoint which design choices really resonated with drivers.
And what did they learn? Any surprises? I'd imagine people would be all about the 3D effects.
Well, surprisingly, the most important thing for drivers was clarity. The research showed that visible and concise was the top visual imagery dimension. Even more important than a design feeling novel and splendid or technological and aesthetic.
Yeah, that makes sense. When you're driving, you need information to be clear and easy to read. You don't want to be distracted by a light show. It's about safety first, right?
Absolutely, safety is paramount. But that doesn't mean drivers want a boring dashboard. They still crave something visually appealing and unique. It's about striking that perfect balance between functionality and style.
It sounds like a real design challenge, like finding the holy grail of dashboards. So after all those tests and all that data, what was the winning combination? Which design came out on top?
Drumroll. The top-ranked design had a blue color scheme, a 2D display, and an unconventional dial shape. It seems drivers want clarity and those high-tech features, but they also want something visually distinct and fresh, something that feels modern.
So blue, sleek, and unconventional. I'm picturing something straight out of a spaceship. But wait, didn't they also investigate how each design choice affected driver preference separately? Like, did the color blue actually make that much of a difference on its own?
Yeah, they didn't stop there. They actually ran a factorial experiment to see how each individual design choice impacted driver
A
preference.
factorial experiment. I'm getting flashbacks to high school science class.
But don't worry, it's not that complicated. Basically, it allowed them to isolate the effect of each variable. And what they found was pretty interesting. The main color had the biggest impact on how much drivers liked a design, with blue being the clear winner.
I guess blue just screams high-tech more than, say, yellow. No offense to yellow, but I'm not sure I'd want my dashboard looking like a taxi cab.
Well, it turns out yellow actually came in last in the rankings, way behind blue and even green.
Makes sense. But was there anything else they discovered from this factorial experiment?
There was actually a pretty weird interaction between the 3D effects and the dial styling. Drivers preferred vertical 3D effects when the dials were round, but they preferred horizontal 3D effects when the dials were unconventional. It's like the shape of the dial actually influenced how people perceived the 3D.
Wow, I wouldn't have expected that. So you're telling me the shape of a dial can have a huge impact on how people experience a 3D visual. That's incredible. I guess every little detail matters when you're designing something as complex as an AR dashboard.
You're right, every detail matters. It highlights the importance of taking a holistic approach to design. It's not just about choosing the coolest features individually, it's about thinking about how they all work together to create a unified, seamless, and enjoyable experience.
So it's like putting together a puzzle where the pieces are colors and shapes and 3D effects. But instead of a picture, the final result is a driver feeling happy and engaged behind the wheel.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it.
So we've covered why AR dashboards are important for SEVs. and gotten some pretty amazing insights into designing them for maximum driver appeal. But I'm guessing there's more to this story, right?
Oh, there's definitely more to unpack. Buckle up, because in part two, we're going to delve into some of the potential challenges that come with all this incredible technology, things that could make you rethink that spaceship-like dashboard we talked about earlier.
Okay, now I'm even more intrigued. Can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so we've geeked out over the cool factor of AR dashboards, but now it's time to get real. What are some of the potential downsides we need to consider?
You're right. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like with any new tech, there are challenges. And with AR dashboards, one of the biggest concerns is distraction.
Distraction. But aren't regular dashboards with all their buttons and knobs already distracting?
That's true, but AR dashboards could take it to a whole new level. Imagine a constant stream of information, alerts, and notifications popping up right in your field of vision. It could be overwhelming.
Yeah, I can see how that'd be a problem. It's like having your smartphone plastered on your windshield. Not exactly conducive to safe driving.
Exactly. And designers are wrestling with this. They want to give drivers access to tons of useful information, but they don't want to overload them or create a hazard. It's a tough balance.
So how do they find that sweet spot? How do you design an AR dashboard that's informative but not distracting?
That's where user-centered design comes in. You've got to test these systems rigorously with real drivers and see how they react. It's about making sure the interface is intuitive and easy to use so drivers can access information quickly and safely without taking their eyes off the road.
So it's not just about cramming in as many features as possible. It's about making those features work for the driver, not against them.
Exactly. And there's another concern that keeps me up at night: cybersecurity. These AR dashboards are basically connected computers, which means they're vulnerable to hacking.
Oh, wow, yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. So someone could hack into my car and mess with my dashboard. That sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It's not as far-fetched as you might think. And that's why car manufacturers are taking cybersecurity very seriously. They have to. They need to build in strong security measures from day one to protect these systems from hackers and malware.
So it's not just about making a flashy dashboard. It's about making a secure dashboard, yeah, one that people can trust with their lives, literally.
You got it. And then there's the data privacy issue. We can't forget about that. These AR dashboards are going to be collecting a lot of data about you, your driving habits, your location, maybe even your musical tastes. It's a goldmine of information.
And that raises all sorts of questions, right? Like, who owns that data? How is it used? And are there any safeguards in place to protect our privacy?
Those are exactly the right questions to be asking. We need to have a serious conversation about the ethical implications of all this data collection. We need to make sure that our cars don't turn into Big Brother on wheels.
Right. Our cars should be tools to help us, not tools to track us.
Absolutely. And finally, we need to consider the potential impact of AR dashboards on driver behavior. What happens if drivers become overly reliant on these systems?
Yeah, I've wondered about that too. Could they actually make people less attentive or more prone to taking risks because they think the technology will always be there to save them?
It's a valid concern. We need to make sure that drivers understand the limitations of these systems and that they don't become complacent or overconfident.
It's like anything else, right? You can have the best tools in the world, but they're only as good as the person using them.
Precisely. And that's why driver education is going to be crucial as AR dashboards become more common. We need to teach people how to use these systems safely and responsibly.
So it sounds like we're walking a tightrope here. We want to embrace all the incredible potential of AR dashboards, but we also need to be aware of the risks and take steps to mitigate them. It's about finding that balance, right?
You nailed it. It's a balancing act, and it's going to require collaboration between designers, engineers, policymakers, and drivers.
Well, this has definitely given me a lot to think about. It's not all fun and games when it comes to these futuristic dashboards,
Yeah.
but I'm still excited to see what the future holds.
Me too. And in part three, we're going to do just that. We'll explore some of the most exciting possibilities for the future of AR dashboards, from AI integration to virtual reality experiences.
Okay, let's talk about the future. What are you most excited about when it comes to the future of AR dashboards?
Well, one thing that really has me fired up is the potential for AI integration. Imagine an AR dashboard that not only displays information, but learns your habits, anticipates your needs, even provides personalized recommendations.
So like a super smart co-pilot who knows you better than you know yourself.
Exactly. It could suggest the perfect playlist for your mood, warn you about traffic jams on your route, or even remind you to pick up milk on the way home.
That sounds amazing. So convenient. And what about the integration of AR dashboards with self-driving cars? That feels like the next big thing.
Oh, absolutely. As self-driving tech keeps evolving, AR dashboards could be crucial in bridging the gap between human drivers and those autonomous vehicles.
How so?
Well, think about it. A lot of people are hesitant about self-driving cars because they don't trust what they don't understand right.
Yeah, I get that. It can feel a bit unnerving to relinquish control to a machine, even if it's supposed to be safer.
Right. But with an AR dashboard, you could actually see what the car is sensing, how it's making decisions, and why it's taking certain actions. It could even give you a heads up about upcoming maneuvers.
That makes a lot of sense. Transparency is key to building trust, especially when it comes to something as important as driving. So we've talked about safety, but what about the fun factor? Can AR dashboards enhance the enjoyment of driving as well?
Definitely. Think about it. What if your dashboard could transform a boring commute into a scenic drive through a forest or along a beach? It could create a whole new level of immersion.
Whoa, so like virtual reality, but for your everyday drive. I can see that being a real game changer, especially for those of us who spend hours stuck in traffic.
Exactly. And what if your dashboard could act as a personal tour guide, pointing out historical landmarks, recommending local restaurants, or even sharing fun facts about the places you're passing through?
That would make road trips so much more engaging and educational. I'd never have to stop and consult my phone again. So basically, the possibilities are endless. We could have AR dashboards that integrate with social media, connect us with other drivers, entertain us, educate us, and who knows what else.
It's truly an exciting time to be a driver, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for AR dashboards and how they'll continue to transform our relationship with driving.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. We've covered so much ground from the psychology of design to the potential pitfalls to the mind-blowing possibilities of the future.
It's been a journey for sure, and it highlights the importance of considering not just the technology itself, but the human element, how it will impact people's lives and experiences.
Exactly. Technology should be a tool to enhance our lives, not control them or make them more complicated. It's been a fascinating conversation, and I want to thank you for sharing your expertise and insights with us.
It's been my pleasure. And to all our listeners out there, as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to ponder. We've talked a lot about the visual aspects of AR dashboards, but what about other senses? Could you imagine a dashboard that responds to touch or uses sound to convey information?
Now that's a question for our next deep dive. But until then, thanks for joining us on this exploration of AR dashboards. It's been a wild ride, and we can't wait to see what the future holds for this game-changing technology.